Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out True Off My Chest. Story 1. Birthday Party. I just want to confide these feelings. I don't know how to start. Every year my birthday is usually on weekend of November. My parents don't usually celebrate my birthday. Blowing candles on a fruit shortcake is a privilege to me. This year I hope this supposed to be different. I believe I will celebrate my birthday with my boyfriend's family. Boyfriend's mom asked if I mind if I hold my birthday party until December because BF's sister has birthday on December. But boyfriend's mom didn't ask me directly but through my boyfriend. It's hard to say no. It's just sad. Story 2. I keep dreaming about people who aren't my partner. Throwaway account. I'm getting so confused. I've, 19F, been with females the majority of my life and especially love being with my girlfriend of 2+ years. We've had our ups and downs but break up at this point is not anything I can think of. It's been a constant me dreaming about men in my life in romantic but not always sexual ways when I'm dreaming. It is almost never involving my girlfriend and I feel like a shitty person. It's also never other women, it's exclusively men. Am I not gay? Do I tell her? I feel so lost. Story 3. My GF is talking about the guy she had a crush on. I was at my girlfriend's place yesterday and we talked about guys in general and she brought up her last crush. The fact she brought this up isn't an issue to me at all but the way she talked about him made me think she still feels like this. She said stuff like, "He is so smart, our time was insane," etc. She said she is done with him because it didn't work out but I am now thinking about this all the time and I am not sure on what to do. Story 4. I think I was almost murdered. I'm not sure where else to post this or if this is the right place, but it's a story that happened I want to share. A few years ago my friend was admitted to a psychiatric unit. While she was in there she met this guy and they became friends. They kept in touch after they were discharged and became each other's support system when they were struggling. She introduced me to him and we all became friends. It became apparent how needy he was. She would complain that if she didn't answer him right away he would text non-stop and used threats of self-harm to get her to respond. Him and I weren't as close, but sometimes he would go overboard on texts with me as well. She wanted to start distancing herself from him, but was scared he would do something to himself. One day my friend wasn't around to hang out, he texted me saying he was having a rough day and wanted someone to hang out with and I agreed. He lived about an hour away and he drove to pick me up. This would be our first time hanging out alone and only my second or third time meeting him. He wanted to take me to an overlook. A secluded place in the mountains that overlooked a highway. He said it was really nice. I didn't think much of it at first and agreed that would be nice to do. It was fine at first and I didn't get any red flags. I warned him before he picked me up, like I warn everyone, I have car anxiety and I don't like going fast. He obviously dismissed this because he started driving erratically, the fastest and most dangerous I've ever seen someone drive. He then started telling me about his therapy appointment and how he was almost sent to the psychiatric unit again because his therapist said he was having homicidal thoughts and tendencies. At the moment, this didn't register to me and we just laughed it off. He didn't explain to me what the thoughts and tendencies he expressed to his therapist were and I didn't think to ask. I'm not someone who's paranoid or easily spooked and I lack thinking bad things could happen to me, so I dismissed it. Then he started saying something about killing animals like raccoons and possums. This was a few years ago so I don't entirely remember what he said about killing them. I don't remember if he said he wanted to or that he was going to. That was when I started feeling uneasy. We started talking about other stuff again and the uneasy feeling left. Then we reached the dirt road to the mountain. The further we went, he mentioned the animal killing again. The paranoia that this dude might hurt me kicks in again. We reached the spot and pulled over. There was no trail. Just trees. He pointed the direction to go. I didn't want him to know I was feeling uneasy, so I just went with it. I nonchalantly grabbed a large stick so I had a weapon in case he were to try anything. We continued to walk and we came out to the outlook. Again, I let my guard down thinking I was just being paranoid and he did just want to hang out and go here. I went to the edge and looked over, admiring the view. That's when I realized he was standing directly behind me and he wasn't saying anything when I was talking. I immediately just sat down and scooted away from the edge, way back to where he couldn't just push me. He asked why I sat and scooted away. I brushed it off as being scared of heights. He went to the edge and tried to coach me over. He kept saying come stand on the edge where I am. I told him I already saw it and I was fine where I was. I noticed the smallest look of disappointment and that's when I realized that I don't think I'm just being paranoid, this dude is trying to push me off. He finally gave it a rest and sat next to me. I still didn't want him to know how I was feeling so I just continued to talk like normal. He asked if I wanted to go to the edge again. Once I told him no and he realized I wasn't budging, he wanted to leave. It was a long drive there and we weren't there very long. We left, he took me home and I never talked or saw him again. Neither did my friend. Maybe I was being paranoid, maybe he had a plan to hurt me. But I learned that anyone can be capable of scary things and to trust my intuition the first time it says something's wrong and don't trust everyone. Story 5. I feel like a failure. I'm turning 25 next week and only just graduated college back in April due to life events delaying me being able to go to college before 2020. I have applied to 46 different places on Indeed in the months since and haven't been able to find a job. I owe the IRS money for a contracting position I did work on that has since dried up. I need to start paying my student loans back next month. I'm relying entirely on my alcoholic older brother and emotionally/verbally abusive mother for housing. I haven't done anything someone my age is supposed to do and I just keep failing and I have no idea how life is going to get better at the moment. Story 6. I really despise my home country. I moved exactly a year ago to a European country as a student to pursue a better future than the one that was available to me at my shthole of an Arabic country, slowly beginning to realize how traumatized I am because of being raised in a fed-up society, from being humiliated as a young kid for having different ideas/different appearance like growing out my hair and using accessories, to growing up and abusing drugs as an escape which resulted in me going to prison which caused even more trauma. Also not to mention the huge amount of toxic masculinity, and having an ADHD/hyperactive naive personality doesn't help, also having to deal with racism or just being treated differently at the current moment just from my appearance which I honestly always understood why. I always had the feeling of being uncomfortable in my own skin growing up and soon find out to realize that this feeling was just me being uncomfortable from the place. I hate the fact that so many people with extremely deep-rooted mental issues grow up and pass on their issues to their kids and other people and just living their lives as if everything's completely normal. I caught myself from falling down a spiral of hatred towards my parents after realizing that it's not their fault, they're just doing what their parents did and actually are very open-minded, compared to my friends' families and social circle. Every time one of my friends or family asks me when are you coming to visit, I feel mildly uncomfortable and panicky at the idea of going back there even for just a visit. I'm getting extremely paranoid/having trust issues due to my old friends and it's affecting my new social life here and preventing me from making close connections from other people. It just kind of feels like having life on hard difficulty. Story 7. My boyfriend finally reciprocated my hug. I've been with my boyfriend for a few months now and he is repulsed by the idea of physical touch. He both hates it and is afraid of it, which is probably linked to his traumatic childhood he told me about when we got closer. He was physically abused by his father who blamed him for his mother's death. He didn't got the physical affection needed to at least have somewhat of a balance, so he only associated physical touch with pain and trauma. From his biological family he's only in contact with his aunt and his grandparents on his mother's side, which he already introduced me to. And when he did, I could tell how uncomfortable he was when they hugged him as a hello. He never reciprocated the hug and always flinched. He would never tell them about it, but I always could tell. He had the same behavior towards me. And I had to be careful not to trigger him. Hugging him or touching him in any way was a no-go, and kissing was only okay when I told him and never approached him from behind. During that time I tried to show him that physical touch is not always hurtful. And yesterday I got him to undress his shirt in front of me. I slowly ran my hand over his skin to show him that my physical touch won't hurt him, hugged him, and when I did I noticed how fast his heart was beating. I could tell that he was not fully comfortable yet, but then I felt his arms around me and I was so happy because he finally reciprocated my hug. Some might say these are baby steps, but for me it's a huge win against his demons. Story 8. I'm afraid my mind is irreversibly damaged and it'll never be normal again, please help. Story 9. I hate that I never call text back. I always delay texting back as long as socially possible and I don't know why. I never pick up private calls because I hate not knowing who's calling me. Sometimes I see my friends calling my phone but I never pick up and call them later in the day or text back later saying I'm sorry I was busy. I give myself the excuse that I personally wouldn't mind if my friends don't pick up me call or take a while texting me back. In fact, sometimes I'm relieved. I really like my friends and family but I deliberately ignore them sometimes for no reason at all. I guess I only want to talk to people on my own terms? I'm starting to think that it always feels inconvenient when I get a phone call. I have to change and always answer phone calls because these are people I love, but how can I say I love them if I sometimes ignore their calls? Story 10. Gonna end it soon. Story 11. It's so hard to date in 2023. It seems like people are just trying to get together for attention, sex, money, just trying to finesse and using each other rather than being in a deep connection. I love the idea of love, but I'm scared of who to share it with other than myself. I've already sacrificed and invested a lot of things, time, money, affection, feelings to the wrong person, and I'm afraid that every time I try to get with someone, I'd be wasting it all over again. I'm not asking for any advice. I just need to let this off my chest. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.